So today on Project Shop, we're actually going to clean off the table. A couple things on here that I'm actually going to process in another video. I think it's some big transformers or sealed units like this. I actually have a big boy sitting over at the front of the door there that we will process at a later date. But for now, we're going to get on all this micro scrapping with some safety glasses on. Never know what we're going to get into here. And finally get my workbench back. I got a couple projects. Plus, I might have some electric motors and stuff I'm going to need the big stator wrecker for. And we need to get back on that too. I just been kind of overwhelmed lately. My editor left. I went on like a vacation and then started school again. So for like the past month, I've been editing all the videos, which has kind of taken its toll on me because it's a lot of work to edit these videos and keep up with almost a every day, every other day rhythm, you know? Sorry, I'm looking for my, clean this. Look at all that dust. Now some people, I get comments all the time about dust and this and that. If you see that dust, it's immediately moving away from me. It's getting sucked out. I have fans blowing every which way in here. Pretty much there's a nice draft always in that direction. We'll throw that with the steel. Okay, so if you've seen in that other video, me and Oliver were processing a bunch of stuff. I hate my tools mixed up in the scrap. Just get these all out here so we can do a bunch at once. Have a bunch of fuses. We'll set the jaw up in a minute. We're gonna be cutting all these bulbs and whatnot. I mean, this is all brand new stuff. These fuses are actually good. Maybe I should keep these. It's a fine line on what you should keep and what you should scrap. To me, I was always in the mindset of scrap it all. But I keep getting comments saying, oh, this stuff is worth that, this stuff is worth that, you should be selling it. I mean, even this stuff is brand new. I think I actually have a bunch of them up on the shelf already. I don't think it's really worth keeping. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh. That's gonna be annoying. It's a worn out thing. I like these extendo bits. Is that copper? Nice. Okay. And these, I actually found a quick way of doing these with a pick. I believe it was a pick. I was working on my car the other day. I gotta put all these tools away. Where's my pick? I know I had one out here with the car. I broke this hose, or not the hose. I broke this little $5 part, but you can't buy the $5 part. You got to buy a whole $80 freaking hose. Maybe I put the pick away. Oh no, here it is. Aha! Nice little chunks of copper. Better get a copper bucket going. Okay, we're gonna break down one of these all the way, and then we'll get the parts sorted. Now that's probably all plastic, but I'm just gonna imagine there's some type of steel in there, and we're gonna sell it as shred. And you know, you might see me throw all kinds of weird stuff in the shred. That's because scrapyard one time, the dude smacked my trailer, which is why I've always had issues with my trailer since then. With the giant magnet. And then the people in the office were like, oh, well, he didn't do it on purpose. There's nothing we can do about it. Cost me a bunch of money. I had to buy a new axle. That's prepared steel. And ever since then, I've had nothing but problems with that trailer. So these just clip over. Anyway, I've been selling them dirt, or not necessarily dirt, but the sweepings from the floor, from the transformers, all the dust. I throw it all in the prepared bin, and I've been selling them that shit for years to make up for all the money and aggravation. And if they ever say anything, I'm just gonna tell them, hey, you know, I didn't do it on purpose. Now that's trash. Okay, so out of all that, those are suspiciously light. Nope, that's copper. Okay. That's all copper. I'm gonna assume that big bar is copper. And then it's the nut drivers on the other side. That's a nice little chunk of copper. This is all extrusion. Oh my God. This is kind of sketchy doing that in your hands for that little chunk of copper, but that's number one insulate. I don't even think we got a little bit of number one we can strip over there later. We find a bucket. We're gonna start a number one insulate pile. And I had a bunch of comments from, I guess, some new subscribers. Oh, I got some number two copper right there, saying I should get a granulator. I actually have some, and if you're new to the channel, you should go back and watch some of my earliest videos. I actually have the granulator on there. Put this brass breakage in here. That's it. This is extruded aluminum, or at least that's what I've been selling it as. Now, these might need some work. This is out of control. It's actually quite embarrassing. Oh, okay, so that's gonna come out. That's not bad. There's always a method. There's always a way, an easy way to do something. You just gotta figure it out. Okay, this is all, I'm gonna assume copper. Yep. Oh yeah, micro scrapping, baby. This is all going to be prepared steel. I find it interesting that some yards won't take screws, bolts, and hardware as prepared steel. It don't get much more prepared than that, man. That's small, clean stuff ready to go to the smelter. Why would you need to send that to the shredder? Just gonna throw it in there for now. And then these, pretty much the same. Just take one apart, get the process down. Then we're gonna zip through them. That was simple enough. Okay. Okay. I'm actually going to keep a couple of these lugs, and then we'll have to set these in a little pile, do them all at once, but at least that came apart really easy. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, take the nut driver first, hit all these, and people that are new to the channel, when I'm taking stuff apart like this, these magnetic bits, they like to hold on to your screws. If you back it out, keep your finger on the trigger and just flick it sideways, it'll basically just take it off for you. And then you can just blow through all this stuff relatively quick. Switch over to our Phillips. Same thing with that. Flick it to the side. That way you can move on to your next thing with relative ease. And always try to keep less than 5 seconds or less between your next screw. You want to be hustling. Try to keep it down to like 2. Funny, that one's missing a some of these are set up different. I wonder if the customer just needed like 1 lug. They bought the whole thing, and instead of pulling out the whole panel, they just replaced 1 little piece. I know they do that a lot. And my arm is feeling much better. I still feel like it's not 100%, but I've been like, it took me a while to get used to favoring my left arm when it comes to picking heavy stuff up. It literally took me about a week to stop using my arm after I heard it. I kept catching myself using it, but then I finally got in the rhythm of using my left arm for like lifting heavy stuff and whatnot. Doing this right here, the drill's not that heavy, but I feel like it's there's still like maybe 5%, maybe more, that needs to be completely healed. I had Oliver here the other day, and we were moving some heavy steel, and I didn't feel like the tug that I was feeling every time I picked up something heavy, like that was happening before. So that's good. And then what I'm going to do is, because it was such a weird, how, you know, I actually had it on camera when I pulled the muscle. When I was taking apart that big stainless container, we're going to keep some of the nicer ones of these. That big stainless box with all the big breakers, I had loosened up the inner panel, and I reached in there like this, and I went to pick up on that panel, and because I was so far extended out, and that thing, them 400 amp breakers are not light, okay? Man, I felt like 4 distinct tugs in my arm. So I guess I didn't tear the muscle, I might have just pulled it, but let me tell you something. That was instant pain. Like instantly I knew something bad happened, and I was just shocked that that even happened. I guess I'm getting old, man. I used to pick so much heavy stuff up all the time, and then like if I couldn't pick it up, my muscles never tore, I just couldn't pick it up. I never had that feeling. Can't even pick that up. I never had that feeling of like, not only could I not pick it up, but my muscles were pulling so hard that it ripped it off. Oh, I missed a whole one. Oh no, I got it. That my muscles like actually tore, which was a total crazy situation, man. Definitely got to take it easy and figure something else out, to where we're not working to the point where we're ripping muscles. I ain't no spring chicken anymore. Man, back in the day when I was cutting concrete, I used to wield that big handsaw, hydraulic powered handsaw with a 20-inch blade. We had 24-inch blades to penetrate the 8-inch block. And man, I doing that for so many years, I was ripped. The heaviest thing I pick up now is like transformers. So what I plan on doing is, once I feel like I'm fully healed, I'm gonna start doing a little workout, lifting a little bit of weights, just to keep all my muscles working. I'm not trying to be like a bodybuilder or something like that. Maybe we'll keep a couple of these too. I'm trying to get a good assortment of stuff like this. I have a plan, and it's all towards getting more customers. Okay, what do we got here? These are nice little chunks of copper. This is like some tedious micro scrapping crap. I probably should hold that with a pair of pliers. Okay. Moving on. What do we got next? These things. Oh. I forget what I was gonna say. Something, people keep asking me about Steve, and I literally made a video explaining what happened, but I guess because, you know, the video, it wasn't a regular high watched video. I was just answering questions and talking. I guess not everybody's seen it, but I'll say it again for those who didn't see it. Steve moved to the middle of the state. Nothing happened. There wasn't no falling out. He met a woman that was moving. She was already in the process of moving when he met her. And he's been wanting to move. He didn't like the neighborhood he was in. And he moved to the middle of the state. I still talk to him. Matter of fact, I did mention that Steve actually had a hernia. He didn't get it working here. He was doing work for this other guy, doing some welding work, and he wound up getting a hernia moving something around. And he had it for months. And I had been telling him for a while he needs to get that checked out. It was actually quite disturbing. And I'm glad he's finally getting it taken care of. But I think on the 20th, he's having hernia surgery. And it's down here. So I live, for those of you who don't know, I live in West Palm Beach. And he moved to this place called Lake Placid, which is like 2.5 hours away from me. So when he comes back, I think he might be coming down the day before. He might stop by. But that's what happened to Steve. Nothing, you know, nothing ever happened between us. We got along great, man, you know. We always bullshitted around. We had a lot of like interests. You know, it's hard to find someone. See, Steve's, you know, he's like, oh, I think he's almost 65 or something like that. It's hard to find people my age or younger that just get it and know how to have a good work ethic, can get things done. For the most part, I mean, Steve has ADD. For the most part, I could just put him on something and, you know, he would just keep working. And that's one thing I really liked about Steve is he didn't like to sit around. He's like Oliver. Oliver don't like to sit around. That's why we get along. we be hustling, dude. You know, I'm used to moving. You know, when I first started working for myself, scrapping, I immediately realized that scrap is not like an hourly job. Like, you know, you can't put in a bunch of hours and think you're gonna get overtime and get extra pay. The more hours you put into it, the less money you're making. So that's why I'm like, I try to make everything streamlined. You get your processes down. Now I'm like, right now, I'm losing my mind. I'm like overwhelmed. Steve not being around and trying to take care of all this stuff myself it's a lot. Like I mentioned in that video, when I was driving over the past 2 years, my income has gone down because the transformers went away from the LEDs. Okay, so I'm not getting them big parking lots. I've already changed, in the past 5 years, I've changed out probably hundreds of parking lots full of LED HIDs. So not only are there no more light fixtures because we changed them out, but the maintenance changing out the transformers has gone away. And before there was even transformers or LEDs, I really didn't get the light fixtures. I made all my money on the light and maintenance aspect, where the customer would go out and change bulb and ballast, and they'd bring the ballast back to their shop. I'd have my 55-gallon drums there. They would fill them up. I'd come by anywhere from once a month to once every other month, depending on, you know, if it were in rainy season or whatnot. And I'd pick up just transformers, strictly transformers, man. If I could go back to just that, I wouldn't even care about the wire strippers and all that, because stripping wire doesn't make money like copper transformers makes money. I have yet to find a scrap that I buy that I can triple my money on. The transformers, I tripled my money on for years. And, oh man, I bent the crap out of that one. And it was good times for many, many years. I didn't have to work as much as I'm doing now, for sure. Definitely, I didn't even know what micro scrapping was. And, you know, in the same time, my main source of income went away, Bidenomics kicked in, and my bills skyrocketed, you know? Like I said in that video, they just raised my rent again, $200 for electric, because not every, like, I don't have my own meter here, so this whole half of the building, we're all like on shared meters. So they were billing me $100. My neighbor said they were billing him $60. And everybody was around $100 or $60 a month for electric. But apparently they were taking in $3,000 less a month than we were using in electric. And I mean, I get it. I have more, like my shop, I don't even have all my lights on. My shop is the most lit up shop in this whole area. Nobody has as many lights as me. And mainly I have this many lights because I'm filming and doing stuff like this, which, you know, you got to see what you're doing. But my bills went from under $2,000 a month right before I moved into this shop. My bills are now pushing $7,000 a month, and this shop is taking up over $5,000 of that. And it's not easy, man. I can definitely say for sure, if I wasn't making money from YouTube, I would have wrapped this shop up a while ago, because it's stressful trying to come up with that amount of money every month. You know, some months I don't make money because I don't have, like, I think I mentioned in that video, a lot of my customers who used to go out and change nothing but bulbs and transformers, the work's just not there to the point where they've literally sold their bucket trucks All my customers used to run bucket trucks. Now, pretty much most of them have sold their bucket trucks, or their bucket trucks sit in the yards and they're barely being used. And it's really sad. It's a sad situation. That one feels like it might have copper. Or just some big fat aluminum coils, yeah. These all came from that job where they stole my lights. Every one of those suckers, even the ones that look like this, that I thought might have been, nope, double aluminum. I gotta find a bucket. We're gonna get them off the table. That's another thing right here that's hit me hard, is the sheer amount of, we'll put these over here, aluminum transformers that I'm getting nowadays. It's becoming like almost more aluminums than coppers. Oh, it's a brand new mountain bracket. I might keep that. I might actually have a use for that. What do we got next? I think we're gonna set the jaw up here. Stupid aluminum transformers. I wish I would have learned about these transformers when I first moved to Florida. Because I think I was here for about 10 years before I found these transformers. I feel like so many of them went into the garbage because they were literally throwing them away for years. My original partner told me he'd been throwing them away for 20 years. He was an electrician. Oh, look at the little mercury ball. Nice. We're gonna keep these. I'm gonna look at the bulbs. Someone had said something about high pressure sodium. Metal arc. So don't mix sodium. I'm gonna look up these metal arcs, see if they're some of them are like multi-vapors. Someone said the high pressure sodiums, which might be these, will explode underwater, which, me being a pyro, found that very interesting. And I mean, we might have to try it just to make sure, just so I can, you know, warn people not to do it. Is that a good? That's a really nice socket. I need to make a test. I might keep this whole thing. I've been saving all them corn cobs, and I need to make a test thing. So what I can do with that, that's some good leads. That looks to be in good condition. Now I got a bunch of these somewhere. But I think what I'm gonna do is unbolt that and flip it around to the other side, and then screw this to something so I can quickly screw in and screw out, make a plug for it. We'll put it over here. I cleaned off this thing and it's quickly regathered stuff, so I need to, the problem is a lot of that stuff is going to go in the other room, and I need to get in the other room and make that possible. Let's continue with these domes. I took a bunch of these domes the other day. I just left all this in there. But I did drill out these rivets here. Okay, steel. I'll keep that one too. This is a slow start, but we're making some progress. Oh no, we lost our tip. Wow, we gotta clean off the table. Oh, see that? It's got little metal shavings in there. That causes problems. I feel like I started telling y'all something and then I forgot. Which happens to me all the time because I'm scatterbrained. I have a whole bunch of these, and a lot of times you could just unscrew them and you get little brass screws. I believe that's stainless or brass. And then this piece, and then there are small driver. There's some brass nuts up in there, but they're almost like pressed into the stuff. Oh, now our, oh yeah, look at that. Big old brass insert. That's some serious micro scrapping. I don't know how much of that we'll be getting into, but you also have little brass ends on here that you could clip if you want to get into some serious micro scrapping. Minus the spring, all that's basically clean brass. That's clean brass. Really doesn't weigh much, and probably be better if it was flattened. You know what's crazy? That just made that feel heavier. I had mentioned in another video that I was talking to this guy one day, some scrappers. Man, it's crazy how that feels heavier. So what he was explaining, that if you had like a big thing of spaghetti wire or even just copper wire and it's all loose and it's out here like, you know, a big open pile, if you condense it down into a ball and make it as tight as possible, and you weigh it before and after, it's gonna weigh more when you condense it into the ball. Now, I told him at the time, I'm like, man, that's bullshit. But just taking that thing and folding it down, the weight difference, I don't know if it's just more condensed. It literally felt heavier. It's really odd. All right, let's just knock out some of this stuff. This is really heavy. I think there might be copper down there. I know one thing, there's a ton of flathead screws. You know, that's my favorite. I just love when I see them. I feel like celebrating. That feels heavier than it should. Almost as if those bars are copper. Wow. Those are steel. That's interesting. That's the first time I've seen that. So we got to take all these out. And of course they're flatheads. But at least with all this rusty looking crap, they coming right out. Yeah. That's a nice heavy chunk right there. Copper. All I see is copper. I hope this camera didn't get out of focus. I'm still working on these cameras. You should see when I'm editing, man. Sometimes, like, I'll have the box where I'm editing, it's like this big. But I bring in the file, it's like that big, man. Some weird stuff going on. And it's not something that I used to deal with a lot. I think that's riveted on there. Nice. Normally, I wouldn't even worry about them two last little screws. This is, I mean, that's probably number 1 copper. We're just gonna throw it with the number 2. All right, let's see what else we got here. This thing feels pretty heavy, man. Probably some big bus bar underneath or something. It's like an old panel. Back when things were made with copper. Before all the BS. Before we fully embraced the throwaway society. Oh no. Okay, finally the new GoPro got hot and shut off. It actually lasts a very long time compared to the other one. I did drill that one screw out, and it looks like we're gonna get some nice little bars. All right. Oh, I should have hit those. Let me hit them while they're still down in there, if they'll come out. Okay. They look to be brass or copper. I think they're brass. Those look to be aluminum. Yeah, that's extruded. That looks to be a chunk of brass. Nope, that's copper. Maybe those other things were copper too. Look at all these little copper nuggets, man. See, this thing was obviously made to last. Yeah, I'm really liking the new GoPro. It does last a lot longer. The settings are a little different. Maybe I'll make a video on the differences. We'll call that steel. I know it was probably some type of ceramic, and I'd assume that was #1 copper. We'll see. We'll see if we even get any #1 copper. Now, these it's all aluminum, all of it. I mean, we're here for the micro scrapping, so we might as well tear it down. I feel like I'm missing a aluminum. That whole thing can go in the aluminum. And then this is all aluminum. Very, very unfortunate. And you can see what happens. The aluminum gets hot and melts. I mean, we don't step up as a society and say it's enough with the bullshit throwaway stuff. You know, these companies, they're just going to make throwaway crap, and you're just going to keep buying it, you know? All right, let's check this one out. This feels like an older one. Kind of feels like that one I just did. And I can already see that's copper. The same problem we have with big corporations is the same problem we have with governments. Nobody's checking them and saying, hey dude, what are you doing? We didn't hire you for that. We don't want that. Everybody's just going along. Or if they do complain, all they're doing is complaining on Facebook or somewhere online. Nothing's happening. But that's a discussion for another show. I wind up taking my other channel down off of YouTube because I feel like it was throttling my account because of the subject matters I was getting into, and the fact that YouTube literally not only deleted one of my videos, but banned me from my own channel for a month. And then gave me a hard strike on the channel. That's all nice heavy copper. Let's see what we got here. So I've actually already moved that channel to Rumble. All the videos except for one, I didn't get one video over there, have been moved. They're up on Rumble. If you want to check it out, it's under the Free Human Project. I will be posting more on there here shortly. I just had a lot going on in the past like a month. I want to say all these little clips might be caught. Oh, no. Okay. I'm just going to send it. Of course, the flathead. My favorite. But I got some information that I want to share with everybody. And unfortunately, YouTube is not the place to share information, apparently. Because the video that I had taken down, I had shared something that happened in real life. There was video of it happening, and a specific person saying something. And YouTube just striked my channel for it. Like, nah, man, you can't mention this guy or his agenda. But yet you could literally go online, and probably right on YouTube. Nice chunks to number 2 right there. And literally see the video. That's brass screw. Okay. Moving along, what else we got here? Wow, I feel like I need to set the jaw up at this time. There's just a lot of stuff. Let's see if that sucks. Huh. I wonder if I should get the bigger impact. I'd hate to just lose all that. All right, let me see. All right, let's see how much power we got. We've got 3/4. Okay. That's going to be annoying. I'll say that's within the 3%. That's a big chunk of prepared steel there. And now we have a stuck bolt. Okay. I forgot what I was talking about, as usual. What the heck? Well, that sucks. Do I really want to break out the torch for this? We might have to. Okay. We're about to get into some real tedious stuff. I got to get my mind in the right mood for this. We'll play some music. So I'm going to put the time lapse on. I'm going to hook the jaw up real quick. We'll mount it in here so we can just chomp a bunch of stuff up. And we're gonna clean up all these lamps. And then we'll come back in a little bit when I get down into some more copper nuggets and stuff like that. But at least I got a start. I probably talked more than I scrapped, but hey, whatever. We got a nice little chunk. Nice little chunk of micro scrapping going. Oh, I don't know if I did my predictions. I predicted that we might be able to pull, I'm gonna say 300 bucks off of this table. Yeah, I'm gonna say we can get about 300 off of this. So we'll see how it goes. We're just gonna, I'm gonna move the tools down. I'm gonna work on this little pile of ballast that's not very interesting stuff. Set the jaw up. We'll cut all the lamps. We do have some of this stuff. There's some big nuggets in here. Well, that nugget's aluminum. That sucks. That's copper. Looks like dielectric grease. Hopefully that comes right out. But there's some nuggets on this table still. So I figure on the low end, we should be able to pull $300 off this table. Copper's up 10 cents since the last time I was there. So let's hurry up and get this cleaned. I got some other stuff to bring in here and process. And I believe we might get to the final bin. I put some more stuff on that pallet, but that can go real quick. One more drum, which only has a bunch of these in it. And then that drum is gone, and the only other thing really over there that's not a tool is that scrap bin, and I'd love to get that today. I don't know if we'll get to that in this video because this is gonna take a lot, but let's see what we can get off this table, and then we'll work on everything else. Okay, we're making some good progress. We got pretty much most of the tedious stuff on that side done. What I'm gonna do now is cut these ballast. I already started a little bit. Now there's many different ways you can do this. For a while there, me and Steve were just cutting these off with a grinder. I absolutely hate the grinder. I made a mess with the grinder earlier. Cutting some of these things. These are ceiling fans. I kept this because these have some nice bearings. I'm going to try to pull them off, put them in the stock, and then maybe even see if they're the same size I need for that fan. But I did a bunch of little transformers with the air chisel, and for the most part, forgot one over here. For the most part, I was running down the middle of them. It was cutting them like butter. I put it up on a piece of wood so I wasn't driving down into my table. And the bigger ones, it was actually easier for me just to come on the outside and run down the side. And I just knocked it out in the vise here. And then those last things I cut with the grinder, literally sent that stuff everywhere. I really do not like the grinder. This particular one here, I can crack the end and knock it off. We'll get that. But I want to weigh this real quick. It's 1.7 pounds on that bucket. Let's see where we're at. 34 pounds. So let's just say 32 pounds. So that's like $110. We're a third of the way there, just on the copper. Now I do have some brass and aluminum, a whole bin of aluminum, a bunch of steel, so we might be up there around 250 or something. I got a whole big bucket. I just kind of moved these down here. This is all big copper nuggets, which I'm going to get onto right after I'm done these ballast. I'll cut a couple of them real quick. We're leaking hydraulic fluid somewhere. So what I've been doing is just cutting the end off. Probably should check these. See, yeah, that's copper. I like to do these with the hatchet because basically I don't even really try to get the big blocks of stuff off. I just focus on knocking these clips off and busting these pieces off, and it pretty much clears it. So that'll pretty much go through the second press. We should get a nice chunk of copper out of here, and maybe get us up to about $200 on number 2 copper. We still got some micro scrapping to do back in here. I don't know, honestly, I don't know after this if I'm gonna get to that today. I've been at this for like almost 3 hours, and I got some other things I need to do. So we might knock out these ballasts and then have to come back to that at a later date. I'm trying to think, I was doing these really fast the other day. Maybe I was just shearing the whole end off. Oh. Maybe that's what I was doing, and then just coming back But I love this hydraulic cutter. I get a lot of comments about suggestions for hydraulic cutters. You know, this is a rescue tool. This one is actually a Centura rescue tool. I think any of the cutters designed for rescue are going to be a good quality machine. You know, the fire department's not going to buy some junk. Now this is a Centura. The other one I have is a Hearst. I think they're both made in America, but I got it on eBay. There's tons of them on eBay. They're basically decommissioned. You know, when the fire department gets a new, oh, had some fluid explode out of that one. When the fire department gets a new cutter, I don't know if they auction it off or they sell it or what, but there's a ton of them on eBay. And they're relatively cheap. I think I got my first one for 500 bucks. And this is a cooked one. Yeah, that's just falling apart. That big spreader cutter one, I'm almost certain was more. I'm thinking maybe 700. And then this one I got a deal on because it had a broken tip when I got it, and then I broke the other tip. I think I was trying to penetrate something that didn't want to penetrate. But I really like this for the wire's stuck on there. For the ballast. It's definitely better than, you can just beat them open. And if you're gonna use that method, I strongly recommend the hatchet. I'm pretty sure that's how I was doing it before. You know, once you get that end, you know, they pretty much come right out. And then you can just, like I said, get in there, look for the ends. Now that's a different one there. This particular style, clean it up a little bit so you can see. This style here, it's completely encased. You have to press the core out, and then you can come back and press it out that way. But the hatchet makes light work. Less hammering, I guess, in my old age. So I'll sit here and just cut the ends off. Really does a good job of getting them started. Oh, let's just pinch that one a little more. There we go. And then you're gonna be beating on this stuff anyway. You know, it's funny. I did a video years ago when I was working out of the house on freezing these. And I think it's funny how I constantly get comments on, oh, you know, you can freeze them in the freezer and they'll come apart easier. I'm pretty sure I was the first one to put out a video showing how to do that. I used to have an industrial freezer that I got through scrap, a nice one, and I would stack them in there, man. A lot of them were big boys like that. Oh, aluminum. Keep an eye out for these red ones. Send them with the ballast. That's the only problem, man. You don't know. You can't check them until you get to the point where it's almost too late. This one feels suspiciously light. Oh, maybe not. Suspiciously looks like copper. Big boy transformer in there. It's always good to smack them around a little bit. Breaks all that stuff up. Alright, you basically know the drill. We're going to come in here, beat these up. That's another one of those. Looks like another one. Freaking aluminum, man. Oh, a red one. Is that another red one? No, that one's good. Yeah. See, these are just clipped together, and this hatchet, you got to be real careful about your fingers. It does a really good job of liberating all that crap. And then we can send this right to the press and knock it out. All right, we're gonna time lapse this. We'll get a bunch of them up on the table over there, punch them out, weigh it up. We might process this. I'm trying to hit that $300 mark. I think with all this and that, we might get there. Or I'll have to keep going until, we're gonna keep going until we hit $300. How about that? I'll tell you where we're going, right to the scrap yard.
Dancing. You ever seen your copper dance before?